A big secret of top producers, 80% of agents are not going to enjoy hearing this, but it's true. Mm-hmm. The biggest reason why it feels like a roller coaster and they're not winning is they don't have people to talk to every single week.
Correct. I agree with you 100%. And I've seen many elite producers. And I can tell you every elite producer that I know is on a subscription lead order. Whatever lead source they have, instead of just deviating, trying one or the other or some third one, they stick with one and they become an expert in that one, and they have a good standing weekly lead order. Standing lead order is the key. And out of 4 weeks, you're probably going to have 1 week that is terrible. You're like questioning everything about the leads. You might be even blaming the guy generating the leads. They're terrible.
Never.
1 week, you're going to be like, man, these leads are the best ever. I'm closing everything. Mm-hmm. And then 2 other weeks are just going to be like, blah. Okay. But what happens is so many people had that first week when it's like valley of despair, and they just quit. And they just quit before things are about to mean revert.
Correct.
And commitment of a weekly standing lead order takes that away from an agent to make a decision. You're in a business or you're not in a business. If you're running a grocery store, do you want to have milk on your shelf? If you don't, you're in the wrong business. You need to have your milk.
What is up? Welcome back to the CA Power Player Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Askins. Man, I'm jacked about this specific interview. Here's a few reasons why. Okay, number one, the dude's actually got some data around the presidential campaign right now because he's an AI data guy. He's going to share that, freaking blow your mind. It's unbelievable. He also got out of the field for a while because he built a big team. He just went back in the field and he's producing over $50K a month on his own pen. And he's an absolute genius when it comes to AI and like data, and audiences. And we've been nerding out in my office for like 3 hours. You would have wanted to, maybe actually 3.5 hours. I don't know. You would have wanted to be a fly on the wheel in that room. I promise. Either way, you can be a fly on the wheel during this conversation. So welcome from Dayton, Ohio with Black Swan Insurance Group, my buddy, Robert Balgac.
Thank you, Cody. Dude. Thank you for the kind words.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you being here. I've been very impressed by you. We're going to cover a lot of topics, by the way. I want to get into your story at some point. Mm-hmm. Really cool story. Also, I want to talk through, AI and data and audiences and how you're using that to actually to decrease your cost per acquisition when you're making sales. I'm going to use some fancy words to try to keep up with him today. Okay, you're not allowed to use too many big words. Okay, just a kid from Arkansas, man.
I do not speak English.
Yeah, you know what's crazy about that is that's a good point. Before we get to I want to talk about the presidential campaign and like the data related to that. You came here without speaking English. Like you're from Serbia.
From Serbia, yep.
How many languages?
1.5.
Yeah, 1.5. I like that. The half is going to sound pretty good today, though. We'll go into Serbian. Is that the language?
Yes,
Serbian?
Correct.
Some languages it's like it's not. It's like a different word. Or some countries. Talk about the presidential race. Mm-hmm. It's coming up soon. Like as the time we're recording this system, we'll put it out sometime, a couple days. It's October 28th, right? At the time we're filming this. That the election, we're vote on the 5th. We got 8 days.
8 days.
Yeah. Why do you think a certain party is going to win and that you have proof behind it? Again, no matter who you're voting for, freaking amazing, right? I don't care what you do. Vote, don't vote, vote for Trump, vote for Kamala. I'm going to love you and help you either way. That's what you can always rely on with Cody Askins, okay? Yep. And we all have our own, religious and faith-based views and business reasons, et cetera, to vote certain ways, which is cool. Talk through that. What does that look like? Okay. Why do you think a certain party is going to win? You actually went and looked at the data behind something specific, and I'll let you discuss it.
Okay. So it's a tricky subject.
Yeah.
Just to preface that, Cody, I would like to be labeled as an anti-communist. Okay. I grew up in 70s and 80s in former Yugoslavia under communism. And communism is one of those systems that look really good on the paper, but in reality, it's terrible. And you have America as, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness.
Yeah.
Communism is more like death, tyranny, and pursuit of power. And so when I was 16, my country ended up in a civil war. And I've seen a lot of bad things. And fortunately enough, I was a pretty good basketball player. Like you said, I'm 9 feet tall.
How tall are you?
I'm 6'8" when I wake up. I'm getting old now, so I'm probably 6'7" now. But
he looks like you look every bit of 6'9". I'm serious.
But so when I was 18, I was in a junior national team for former Yugoslavia, and we actually were taken to Limoges, France, and we played against number 1 high school team in the United States at that time, and that was Demata High School out of Maryland, and they had 7 Division I players at that time. The game was not even close because we killed them by 20 points. We ended up having 5 NBA players on that team. I was not one of them. Hence, I'm talking to you right now.
You thought you would be.
Okay.
I bet.
But I thought I was good enough, and when I came to the United States, that's what I thought I was going to be, right? So I did end up playing Division I. We probably have some stories on that side.
For sure.
But to preface all of that, I even remember when I was 16, 17, 18 years old, I would have this piece of paper. This is old school. Okay, this is before Google. This is before iPhones.
Am I too young for this?
You might be too young. I don't know.
How old are you, by the way?
I'm 48.
Dude, you do not look almost 50, bro. Jeez.
I have some gray hair here.
Yeah, okay. I got a few. You can't see them, hopefully. Dylan will doctor it up for me.
What I tell my kids, gray hair, those are the bad things that happened that didn't kill me. Okay, so I have a lot of them.
Yeah.
But what I was doing, Cody, is I would actually draw the spots on the court. So there are like 7 different spots. So you have like the wings, you have like the baseline, you have like the just across from between the middle and the wing. And then I would have an assistant coach tally how am I scoring from each position. So when we go into a shooting practice, I would just shoot, and then he would just go and say, okay, you're doing well here. So we just regular jumpers.
Interesting.
Then we would do like one dribble,
that's
two
where
dribble.
the data analysis started.
There, right?
Huh.
So
what did you learn from that?
I learned that I was really good from the top of the key. I was one of the best.
Wow.
Yeah, I was 80% when I'm wide open on top of the key.
Yeah, but how? I mean, other than like fast break or like pick and roll, like when is that happening? You know what I mean?
All the time.
Yeah.
All the time. Because in that motion offense, as long as you set good screens, you open up.
Interesting.
And at that time,
were you a 4 or a 5 or what?
In Yugoslavia, I was 2.
Oh well, you were always up there then. Jeez Louise, you were a 2.
I was a 2.
Were you that tall then?
Yeah.
As a 2.
And I was the 9th tallest player on the team. I had to be a guard back then.
Wow.
Okay.
No wonder you could. Yeah.
So I don't know if you remember Rašo Nesterović. He was 7'1". He used to play in the NBA Raptors and San Antonio Spurs for many years. So.
Wow.
So we had a good team. So I always wanted to be on top of the key. If I'm wide open there, that shot is going up.
Yeah.
Okay? And when I came in here back in the day, before Google, the 3-point line was like a foot closer. So the 3-point line was on top of it. In Europe, it wasn't. So for me, it was like shooting, a long 2. So it was easy. But that's really where I fell in love with data, because I wanted to put it in my head. Okay, this is where I'm going to be good at. So
Smart.
if I knew if I was on the left side, it might be rough. It's not going to be 80%. Okay,
yeah.
But if I'm on top of the key, that thing is going up.
Yep. You didn't always. Did you always? I mean, you when you were a new agent, did you analyze data? Did you just?
I overanalyzed data.
Yeah.
I overanalyzed, and especially in the beginning when I started, you start with the old leads. They give you a bunch of old leads, and
what did you start out selling?
Mortgage protection.
Yeah.
Mortgage protection. So I think I bought 350 or 400 old leads.
Wow.
I didn't know what they were. And at that time, this is 2017, I actually printed them out. I jammed the printer. That stack was this big, right?
Did you door knock them, call them?
Call them.
Book an appointment?
Book an appointment.
Were they local, or did you do phone sales?
It was. We were going to homes.
Yeah.
We were going to homes. So I would just pick up those, And again, like every new agent, I was looking for every excuse not to call him, Cody.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this stack, and I'm just watching this stack. I'm like, room hasn't been cleaned in a while. Let me just go clean the room. Okay. It probably took me an hour just to get into that spot to call.
Yeah.
And I start calling them. The third guy I called, the conversation went something like this. I'm like, is this John? No. Can I talk to John? No, you can't. He died 9 months ago. That's like my third lead. I'm like, what's going on here?
Can you go get him? No, bro, he's dead.
I think I blurred something stupid like, I hope he had life insurance. Click.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
Hopefully he did.
That was one of the gray hairs here, right?
Yeah.
So I was just grinding to that. Somehow I ended up setting up 10 appointments, went to people's home. I sold 5 for $7,500 in my first week.
Let's go.
So
shut up.
So I just went
You're like, this is easy. Why didn't everybody do this? I'm making money.
This is like hunting in a zoo. And that's how people start calling me the zookeeper. And that's the start. Could be a beginner's
crazy.
luck.
Yeah.
But
do you think everybody should start face to face?
If they can, it's good. It's easier. You can read people's
100%.
body language.
100%.
I would also recommend new agent, just talk to your friends and family, help them out, get the jitters out, and just do the right thing, right?
Yep.
But to go back to your original question, okay?
Yeah.
So I just wanted to give you that background about the data, right?
Cool.
Just looking at the data, being very objective here, it's not even close, okay?
Talking about the presidential race.
It's going to be presidential age. It's not even close. I think this is going to be called out within the first 24 hours. We might even be going to bed by midnight knowing who the president is.
Shut up.
Yeah, it's that far away, because if you just look at the certain traffic going for the candidate that starts with T, that traffic is 2 times higher than the traffic going for the other candidate. Okay, and if you really go under the hood and you start looking at the data of those people are non-college educated people. Okay, so these are the people that are busy working. They're not going to be answering any of the polls. So I think these polls are going to be very, very wrong to what I'm seeing on the back end, on the data side. And I think it's going to surprise a lot of people. And I think it's going to come down to Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. And if you see one of those go by 10 o'clock, it's over.
Wow.
So
you're saying one of those 3?
I think one. I think if Pennsylvania goes, it's over. It could be quick.
That's wild.
And I think people are people. Okay. And I would just say, I've seen the country divided a lot.
Unfortunately so.
But I can give you one story, which was a very impactful story for me personally.
Please.
This was back in 2018. I was still in the field. And I was going in, and I was in Greene County, which is more of a rural county in Ohio.
We're in Greene County right now.
Okay. So
with an E on the end.
With an E on the end. This one was E on the end too. Okay,
shut
so
up.
Greene County, Ohio. Yeah.
Springfield, Missouri.
Yeah. So I was going there, and I get park right in a driveway, and there's a big Trump flag. And this is like 2 years after the election. Big Trump flag.
2018?
2018,
Yep.
So
because he got in 2016.
Yeah, he got in.
Yeah.
He got in. So I walk in, I think the guy had all Trump memorabilia. It was all there. And I'm okay. So what happened to him? His wife unexpectedly died. And he was still grieving, and he wanted to make sure if something happens to him that their kids don't lose the house. So good conversation, got him qualified, got him covered, everything's good. So now I'm going from Greene County, and I'm driving all the way down to Hamilton County. Okay.
How far is that?
That's probably an hour away.
Okay.
So I get into this guy's house. Nice guy, great guy. Guy was wearing a T-shirt. This is 2018. He's wearing a T-shirt, Ohio for Obama. Okay? So I'm sitting at the kitchen table. What happened? His wife died, and he didn't want his kids to lose the house if something happens to him. And then as I was driving back home, I was really thinking, okay, we have this guy who is pro-Trump guy. We have this guy who is pro-Obama guy.
Mm-hmm.
If you put those two guys in a room, they're very similar guys. They would probably like each other.
Probably.
So why don't they like each other? And I think it's
Political views.
It's political views, but it's also, I think it's a corrupt media. I think that toxic culture just feeding that garbage, right? Because ultimately there's no blue America, there's no red America. We're all Americans. We're in this together.
Amen.
Okay?
Let's go.
And I feel very privileged to be here after growing up in a communist country. And people just need to be grateful. This is the best country in the world.
Yeah.
Is it perfect? No. Okay? Nothing is perfect. But I tell my kids, we are like the tallest midget. We're still the tallest. Okay? So there are always going to be problems. But can I just tell a story about
Please.
how I describe communism to my 10-year-old?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm curious because I don't know much about it, to be honest, other than just what you see in movies or hear.
So I'll give you an example. This is a real example that my 10-year-old Julia understood.
Yep.
So Julia is a great student. She studies, she works hard. And I tell her, okay, we were watching TV. This was maybe 2020, 2021. And they had all these different, China things. And I think I just blurted something like, oh, I don't like China. Okay. She goes, why don't you like China? 10-year-old asked me. Well, I don't like them because they're communist. And she looks at me with the big blue eyes and she goes, what is communism? Okay, great question. Okay, let me see if I can figure this out. Okay. Okay, so here's how it works, Julia. Let's say you're a great student, you bust your butt, you're working hard, and you get 100 on your exam. Great job. Jessica, in your same class, she's not paying attention, she's messing around, she didn't do any homework, she gets 60 on the same exam. So Julia, imagine teacher coming to you and say, hey, Julia, you scored too well, let me take 20 points off. Then she's going to give her the other 20 points. Now you guys are equal at 80 points. So Julia, how would that make you feel? Oh, that sucks. Yes. How would Jessica feel? Jessica would think it's great.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And that's a problem.
Wow.
That's a problem psychologically because your A players, people who are trying to push themselves, now their morale is getting crushed.
Yeah.
Okay? And you don't want your best players to be crushed. Okay? Because things are not going to work for anybody, right? So what happens in a communistic system, people either leave, like I did, or people just lose the hope and they become average. And the worst thing you can do is become average.
Amen.
And then you're not reaching your potential. You cannot help anybody, not even yourself. And it becomes very negative thinking where you can easily blame somebody else.
Yeah.
It's not your problem. And then that just spirals out of control. So long answer to a short question, but I think it's going to be quick. And I hope the country unites after this and we just make this the best country that it is.
Can only hope. Yeah. Appreciate that. That's a cool example of how data, of how important it is. I mean, you're using it in literally selling insurance now. You know, like you're like, talk through kind of what you're doing on that side before we get into some other specifics. Like it's allowing you to find your ideal audience, because we've always been told like, hey, riches are in the niches.
Riches are in the niches. Absolutely.
And everybody always says you need to niche down. Most agents aren't. And I think too, like one of the biggest things holding agents back, I think we'd agree on this, is a big secret of top producers. Agents, there's like, I would say about 80% of agents are not going to enjoy hearing this, but it's true.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest reason why why it feels like a roller coaster and they're not winning is they don't have people to talk to every single week.
Correct.
Like consistent lead flow is the best hack of our industry.
I agree with you 100%. And I've seen many elite producers and I try to learn from them. And I can tell you every elite producer that I know is on a subscription lead order. Whatever lead source they have, instead of just deviating, trying one or the other or some third one, they stick with one and they become an expert in that one, and they have a good standing weekly lead order. Standing lead order is the key.
Yeah.
And out of 4 weeks, you're probably going to have 1 week that is terrible. You're like questioning everything about the leads. You might be even blaming the guy generating the leads. They're terrible.
Never.
1 week, you're going to be like, man, these leads are the best ever. I'm closing everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 other weeks are just going to be like, blah. Okay. But what happens is so many people had that first week when it's like valley of despair, and they just quit. And they just quit before things are about to mean revert.
Correct.
And commitment of a weekly standing lead order takes that away from an agent to make a decision. You're in a business or you're not in a business. If you're running a grocery store, do you want to have milk on your shelf? If you don't, you're in the wrong business. You need to have your milk.
Yeah.
Milk goes bad after a couple of weeks.
True.
You don't want to get sick. Get more milk. So if you want to be in a grocery business, you got to have milk. If you want to be in insurance business, you got to have leads. Whatever your leads are, get them and be consistent.
It's powerful. It's funny you say that. That's good timing because we just added weekly subscriptions to CABOOMLeads.com, right? As you say that, right? But you're right, though. Like when I look back at the most successful times in my career, and I want you guys listening to audit this too, like of your own business. I had leads coming in and appointments being ran every week. You know?
You have to.
Like if someone's out there like, dude, I really want to sell, and you could help them do this, I would assume. If you wanted to sell, if they wanted to, like if you were teaching someone how to sell $50,000 a month, like how are you writing $50,000 a month now that you've got back into personal production?
So first of all, you got to reverse engineering. Okay. So if you're going to write 50, you will have to invest into marketing. Okay.
Yes.
So you have to do it. So depends on your skill set, depends on your experience, depends on your niche. There are a lot of different factors. Okay. But you should be able to generate at least 3-to-1 ratio. Okay. So, I said, okay, I'm going to do 50. I'm going to spend 15. So 15,000 a month in marketing expense. Sounds like a massive number. It is. But you put odds so much in your favor, you don't care if you hit a bad batch. Okay. Because if you just have consistently leads coming in, you're going to hit the one that is going to solve a lot of different problems. Correct. Right? So it just puts less pressure on you, less pressure on the whole system. If you don't have that big of a budget, start with something smaller, but just be consistent. You cannot be on leads 1 week and then say, oh, I didn't reach everybody. I'm going to skip this week. And then you don't get anything. Yeah. And here's another tip. If people didn't answer the first 10 times, what are the odds they're going to answer the 11th time you call?
Not very high.
It's like, I know when I was trying to dunk basketball when I was 14 years old, I'm just trying, and I tried to dunk 10 times in a row, and coach just looks at me, he's like, you're not going to dunk on the 11th time. Don't even waste your time. And what did I do? I tried, and I didn't do it, right? So the odds are against you. You need some layups, and you need a fresh lead flow to supplement that. You just have to do it if you want to be serious.
Yeah.
I just don't know anybody, Cody, who does $100,000 without leads. It just, maybe you do, okay, but not on a consistent level.
No. Not on a consistent level. I mean, sure, there's some like advisor or, local brokerage type places to where there's a lot of like warm market referrals and networking groups, but it's still not consistent though.
It's not consistent.
It can be big, but it's not necessarily consistent. And I think the problem with the lack of consistency is it bleeds in and it starts to affect your confidence. And then you go, you don't have any appointments for the week and you have 4 and then you don't close any of them or 2 of them no show you, whatever. You're just like, crap, this business sucks, right? And then it just starts creeping in.
Yep.
And you start going backwards.
That's it. And that's why, in addition to the leads, I'll give you another hack.
Okay.
I think it would help a lot of people. Very simple hack. Make 100 dials before lunch. Okay. How long is it going to take you? 3.5 hours. So that means you got to go, 8:15, 8:30 in the morning. Okay.
Yep.
Smile and dial. Fresh leads, all leads, referrals, make phone calls. Yes. Still, nothing beats phone calls. It's kind of crazy.
True.
People say, AI texting, AI callers, that's all great. it does not replace the human being. Okay, and with all the training that you're putting in there, great training on how to approach these older leads, just do it.
Yeah.
Just make those dials. But I guarantee you, if somebody goes and does 100 dials before lunch for 22 days in a month, they will make money in this business.
Interesting. So if you're challenged enough, they will do 100 dials before lunch.
Before lunch.
How many? 21 days in a row?
22 working days.
22 working. Oh, you're saying for the whole month.
For
yes.
the whole month.
They'll just do that for a whole month of working days. They will make money.
They will make money.
And you're right. You're right.
You're forcing the activity.
Yeah.
Now, for the extra overachievers,
Sure.
you eat lunch, you make another 100.
Yeah.
Now you're getting into 5-figure per month if you're able to do that.
And you're getting your skills getting better faster.
Yes.
Much faster.
And you probably read Malcolm Gladwell's book, Outliers.
No, I've heard of it though. I've heard a lot about
You
it.
need to put it on your list, man.
Okay.
You need to put it on a list.
I got a freaking
It-
book list that's
you-
like
you become
an
an ex-
encyclopedia.
You become an expert with 10,000 hours of deliberate practice.
Mm.
And when I started dialing, I was terrible. I would make an argument, I'm still terrible, but I'm better than an average now just because I put enough reps.
You think you're not
into-
that good still?
Not as good as I could be, no.
You have a lot of people that. Do you have a lot of people that like because your system just? What percentage will end up booking on your calendar between like auto books and automations and all that?
I don't even pay attention to that anymore
Yeah.
because I want to get them on the phone. And even if somebody auto books, that's great. I will
Doesn't
still
mean they're
pick up
gonna
the phone and talk to them.
And will you say like, "Hey, we can talk then, or we can talk now"?
Exactly. We can talk. Is there anything specific you were looking for, Cody, when you booked this appointment with me?
Yeah.
Oh, I want this, and okay, I can help you with that. Can I just ask you just a couple of questions so I can prepare a little bit better for our appointment later at 7:30? Yeah.
Mm.
Just run the whole underwriting right there.
That's
Okay.
cool.
And then we can just figure out maybe that sale happens right there. Or maybe it's going to be that appointment that was already
Yep.
set.
Yep.
Right? But it's all about the activity. I mean, it's really no magic in this business except get the leads, call the leads, help the people, get paid, rinse and repeat.
Mm. It's pretty smooth. How are you using? You've also built like your own. What do you call what you've built with like the AI data and all that? Does it have a fancy name?
Fancy name? Unfair advantage.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Black Swan unfair advantage. Yep.
Talk about the unfair advantage and I guess if agents wanted to contact you and get access to like, because what like how does that work? So if they're like, what are we talking about?
There are just so many moving pieces in the whole sales process. From A to Z, there is just a lot, right? But one thing that really starts everything is the data.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to build a house,
Very important.
you got to build a house with a strong foundation. You cannot build a house on sand. So there are ways to actually figure out who the people are looking for specific things. So if somebody's looking for IULs, we can probably track them down. If somebody's looking for annuities, we know who they are. If somebody's just looking for final expense, final insurance, there. If we want nurses for tax-free retirement, we can find them there. So once you understand who your ideal client is, first understand that.
Yeah.
So you need to have like an ideal client blueprint. What are their fears? What are their goals? What are their objections? What are their mistaken beliefs? What are their expensive alternatives? Just have a blueprint so you know, okay, once I understand that, then I can advertise to that specific person in a language that they understand.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
And then there are certain ways that you can get that data based on what they're looking for. You can figure out some search keywords that they're looking for. You can then get the data for those search words on specific people, and you can create these targeted audiences of people who are in your niche. And then you can just run ads on that and get some people who already kind of are looking for it. It's much easier to sell it to somebody who's looking for something
Then just a random.
Just a random, right? So the random, okay, that's going to be your top of the funnel. Those are your everybody. But like you said, riches in the niches, right? So you got to go at least find somebody who is at least aware what it is. My thing is an IUL. So I want to know people who know what that IUL is. They have basic understanding what it is. So when I actually get them on the phone, they ask me, so Rob, how much should I put into an IUL? That's a good opening statement instead of me just trying to describe what it is.
Yeah.
So there are certain, technology is just amazing these days. It's crazy. ChatGPT changed the world. I don't know how we live without
It's nuts. I definitely don't know how Dylan lived without it before. That's for sure.
So it's just amazing. I think one thing that is consistent in this business and in life is change. And you gotta go and make adjustments. I was trying to explain my kids unsuccessfully what a VHS tape is. Okay. Because my basketball
That'd be hard
games,
to explain.
I'm so old, man. My basketball games are still on VHS tapes. I have a few of them in the unfinished basement, and my little twins went there, and they're like, "What is this?" I'm like, "That's VHS tape." Then they start pulling that tape. I'm like, "No, no, stop!"
Oh no!
So technology changes.
Yeah.
Right? So
Keeps evolving.
It keeps evolving.
You keep evolving your agency too.
You have to. You have to. I mean, when we started, it was face to face.
Yep.
Paper applications. You probably started on paper
I did.
applications too.
I did. Yeah. It was insane. So also, my dad started out running a freaking debit route where he collected the premiums every month at people's doors.
Yep.
If there's an agent out there that's like, hey, I would like help reaching my ideal audience and my niche, you have a way to actually help them build a list of those people using your AI data.
We could do that. We can probably put a link down in the comments and we can try to help them out.
Yep. If they have questions, they want to learn more, they're interested in you and Black Swan, everything you're doing, or they're like, dude, I need some help, or I just want help with the data, or hey, I need help with sales, whatever, what do they do? Where should they go?
So they can just go to our main website. We're just upgrading that right now. So black-swan-insurance-group.com.
black-swan-insurance-group.com.
That's it.
Boom.
That's it. So just go
You
there.
can find a more complicated URL for us to share.
Let's
Either way, we'll link it below.
We'll link it below. I'm overcomplicating things, right? But it's there. It's there.
Cool. That's awesome, man. Well, dude, I appreciate you not only driving 8.5 hours from Dayton, Ohio to spend some time. We've been strategizing. It's been amazing. I've loved working with you. Super impressive, dude. Big heart, cares a ton about helping agents. You've had a history of helping hundreds of agents make some really solid money. Now you're even involving into the data piece even more.
Helping agents make money is a cool thing, and even
it's
I
amazing.
remember, Cody, when I played, I was a typical European player. If you remember Kukoc, I was like Kukoc.
Tony Kukoc.
So
yes.
I could shoot, I could dribble, and I didn't play any defense. Okay? That was my game. Okay. But I always got enjoyment out of an assist more than a point. I don't know why. And in many cases, if you ask my ex-players, I would just give some no-look passes that would just hit them, right? But I just that just gave me a great deal of satisfaction, right?
That's cool.
So even now, I know I'm going to be okay. I'm living an American dream.
Yes.
But can I help somebody else live an American dream? So I get a lot of satisfaction creating elite producers.
Cool.
And a very large percent of our agency are lead producers. So those are the people, 100K per year in production.
Yeah. Because you probably don't take everyone.
We don't. You just can't. We used to.
Yeah.
It's
hard.
It's hard. Okay.
Especially when you want to help them at the level of concierge style that you want to help them.
Yes. And I'd rather be a Navy SEAL than just a regular guy, right? So
rather
when
be a
somebody
Navy SEAL than a baby SEAL.
Well, you got to be a Navy SEAL. We're not going to dunk you underwater, okay? But the first 2 weeks are going to be very, very hard. And we're going to make that hard for you on purpose. Because we know if you don't make any sales in the first 2 weeks, you have 0% of becoming an elite producer.
Wow.
Those are the odds.
In your model?
In my model.
What if they didn't make the sales in the first 2 weeks with wherever they worked?
It's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a problem.
But it doesn't mean they can't become an elite producer, but you've seen in your system that
in my
that's
system,
true.
it's a 0.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just imagine when you started, right? You made a sale.
Yeah.
You don't know how. You don't remember.
No, I really don't remember, actually. I think it was like some... I don't even know.
I still remember my first sale, man.
I know how I got there. I don't remember where I got them from, though. They were in like Fairgrove or somewhere up north.
But you made it happen.
Yeah.
Okay, you made it happen. So if somebody is not able to make a sale in the first couple of weeks, they did not put enough activity to put themselves in a position, or B, they cannot do it. Neither of those is good. Okay.
No.
So if you want to become a Navy SEAL and be part of the high-performing organization, you cannot bring everybody else down. You need to be an A player.
Amen. Let's go. Can you help them become A players, Rob? Can you help them become A players?
Maybe.
Depends
on them.
Amen. Well, appreciate you being on. Thanks for driving. Thanks for hanging. And thanks for being on the Power Player Podcast to share some amazing wisdom today.
Thank you, Cody.
Okay. Thank you, buddy. Thank you guys, man, for hanging with us. We'll add some links below. You can check out what Robert Balgac with Black Swan Insurance Group is doing. Dude, is like stuff he does to like turn on some AI and use data and build audiences to like target a niche. It's next level. It's super freaking impressive. And I love what he's doing. Also, he mentioned weekly subscriptions, man. You can check out our weekly subscriptions at CABOOMLeads.com. You can actually use coupon code YouTube to get 10% off your very first order. Have an amazing rest of your day. Thanks for listening to the Power Players Podcast. Adios.